Hello? The Spooky Wooky, a picture story for Finnley Shaddock on Halloween 2020, written and drawn by NanaB. It was Halloween. Finnley's mum and dad were going out for the night, so Grandad and NanaB came to look after him. Mum and Dad went out leaving Grandad, NanaB, Leo the cat and Finnley to play at home. NanaB said, "It's Halloween. Shall we go to the valley and find a spooky wooky?" "That's a good idea," said Grandad. NanaB went to fetch their coats. "What's a spooky wooky?" asked Finnley. Grandad said, "You'll know one when you see one. Hurry up and put your coat on." "What about Leo?" asked Finnley. "He can't come this time," said Grandad. NanaB called up the stairs, "Come on, you two, I'm ready. We need to get cracking if we're going to find a spooky wooky. Let's go." At the top of the valley, they looked down into the darkness. Above, the moon was shining brightly, and Finnley ran. "Be careful on those steps, don't fall," NanaB called. "It's a long way down and very dark where the spooky wooky visits on Halloween," said Grandad. Laughing, Finnley shouted, "Spooky wooky, where are you?" At the bottom of the valley, it was indeed very dark. "Where's the spooky wooky then?" asked Finnley. "We'll have to look for him," said Grandad. "Well, what does he look like?" said Finnley. "You'll know one when you see one," said NanaB. Finnley called, "Spooky wooky, where are you?" Hearing Finnley calling, the animals of the valley opened their eyes to see what was making all the noise. "Shh, be quiet," Grandad said gently. "Listen." "Let's whisper quietly," said NanaB. "What's a spooky wooky sound like?" whispered Finnley. "You'll know one when you hear one," said Grandad quietly. "Switch the torches on and we'll take a proper look around," said Grandad. In the torchlight, the valley looked alive with all sorts of creatures, noisily squawking, jabbering, croaking and cackling. "Look, is that a spooky wooky?" whispered Finnley, pointing his torch at a tree. "No, that's not a spooky wooky. Perhaps it's over there behind that tree," NanaB said. Finnley went to the other tree and shone his torch into a dark hole. 2 big eyes stared back at him, and something growled. Frightened, Finnley quickly turned and ran back to NanaB. "Oh, NanaB, is that a spooky wooky?" "No, that's not a spooky wooky," smiled NanaB. "You were very brave to look. Well done." "Well, what is a spooky wooky?" asked Finnley. Let me think. It's difficult to say," said NanaB, patting Finnley on the head. "A spooky wooky is sometimes very tall." "And sometimes very small," laughed Grandad, "but not tall and small at the same time." So a Spooky Wooky is tall and small? That's not right, said Finnley. Oh, yes, it is, said NanaB. Come on, let's keep looking, said Grandad. Deeper and deeper they went into the dark valley. Howl! Wolves howled. Growl! Bears growled. Ooh-ooh! 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 Owls hooted. Click-clack, click-clack. Bats clacked. Yak, 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 yak. And squirrels yacked. What funny noises valley animals make, but I can't hear a Spooky Wooky. What's that over there? NanaB asked, pointing her torch. Something moved, and they all shone their torches into a soggy pool of stinky water. A fat old toad blinked at them. Suddenly, a great big frog leapt up, making NanaB jump. How silly, she giggled. We must have surprised the poor frog. Finnley laughed. No, NanaB, the frog surprised you. Does a Spooky Wooky live in the water? Spooky Wookies don't live in the water. They do sometimes like to swim, though, said Grandad. When do they swim? Asked Finnley. Oh, that's easy. In the summer, they like to cool down. If no one's around, they go for a swim. Then their fur dries quickly in the sun. So are they furry? Asked Finnley. Yes and no, said Grandad. We really must get moving if we're going to find a Spooky Wooky tonight. Come on. Finnley started jogging along the valley path. Not so fast. Wait for us, puffed Grandad and NanaB. Finnley called back. Have I got this right? We are looking for a tall, short, furry, not so furry, Spooky Wooky then? That's right, said Grandad. Oops, Finnley said, dropping his torch. Angrily, Finnley said, This isn't fun anymore. It's only a nighttime walk in the wood and I'm getting bored. I don't. Oh. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't believe there is a Spooky Wooky in the valley. I want to go home right now. Shush. Yes, there is, Grandad said. A Spooky Wooky has very long and very short arms and legs. A Spooky Wooky has a hairy head and hairy body. A Spooky Wooky has a big nose with 2 tusks at either side of its mouth. A Spooky Wooky is like NanaB and me and comes from England. You'll know one when you see one. And, whispered NanaB, a Spooky Wooky has shaggy purple fur. It has legs that grow tall or small. It wears yellow gloves and boots and never takes them off, even when it swims. A Spooky Wooky likes to smell nice, a bit like oranges. It also likes to keep its tusks and teeth very clean. Oh, and it loves to sing. Come on, I'm sure we'll find one. Just keep looking. The valley had been noisy with animal sounds, but now it seemed different. Music played gently through the valley and something was singing along to a tune. Finnley felt happier after he had been told exactly what a Spooky Wooky looked like. Listen to that. Can you hear it? Whispered Grandad. La, 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 la. Yes, Finnley and NanaB said. Someone's singing. Let's follow the singing. Finnley started humming along to the music. Grandad, do you know this song? I do, said Grandad. It's called I've Got a Lovely Bunch of Coconuts, and it's a favourite song of the Spooky Wookies. Do they like coconuts? Grandad laughed. I expect so. Spooky Wooky's a vegetarian, so they probably like to eat coconuts. Shh! Quiet, Finnley. I think I can see a... Spooky Wooky. It's behind you. The music and the singing stopped. Sure enough, the shape of a purple furry head and body, shining tusks, orange arms and legs with yellow gloves and boots on stood right behind Finnley. Finnley stood very still. And then... turned quickly to see the Spooky Wooky somersault backward, catching his boot on a tree branch. Dangling upside down, the Spooky Wooky grinned at Finnley, wiggling his finger to conduct his singing. Finnley's mouth dropped open, but no sound came out. The Spooky Wooky started to sing. Down at an English fair one evening I was there, when I heard a showman shouting underneath the flare, I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts. The Spooky Wooky raised his voice. There they are, a-standing in a row, big ones, small ones, some as big as your head. The Spooky Wooky dropped off the branch, turned round and right in front of Finnley carried on singing. Give 'em a twist, a flick of the wrist, that's what the showman said. Oh, I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts. The Spooky Wooky stopped singing and said, Oi, you, boy, what's your name? My name's Finnley Shaddock. Well, Finnley Shaddock, do you know who I am? I think so, said Finnley. Are you a Spooky Wooky? Correct, young man. As a matter of fact, I truly am a Spooky Wooky, but my friends call me Spook. Do you like my coconut song, Finnley Shaddock? Yes, said Finnley. OK, you can be my friend and call me Spook. Remembering his manners, Finnley said, Thank you, Mr. Spook. No, Mr. Spook. Just Spook will do, grinned the Spooky Wooky. Hello, Spook, called Grandad. I'm glad we managed to find you. We were beginning to think that we had missed you this Halloween. I don't think Finnley would have believed us if he hadn't met you, said NanaB. We found you by following your singing. You can't beat a good old English song, sighed Spook. It's a funny song about coconuts. Do coconuts grow in England? Asked Finnley. They don't grow in England or Canada, but coconuts are lovely to eat. Yum! And they look like funny hairy faces, said Spook. I suppose they do, said Finnley, and my friends call me Finnley. Just Finnley. OK, Finnley it is, laughed Spook. What time is it? Grandad asked NanaB. Oh dear, answered NanaB. My watch says it's 10:30. I hadn't realised how long it took to find Spook. It's too late for us to be out on Halloween. We'd better get Finnley home to bed. That's a shame, ain't it, Finnley? Said Spook. We do have a time for another verse of lovely coconuts. On 3, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Every...
will make me rich. There stands me wife, the idol of me life, singing rarely bell a ball a penny a pitch. Singing rarely bell a ball a penny a pitch. Singing rarely bell a ball a penny a pitch. Rarely bell a
The creatures of the valley sang, NanaB sang, Grandad sang, Finnley sang, and of course Spook sang. Everyone singing very loudly. That was terrific, but we must go now or Finnley's mum and dad will be cross with us, said NanaB. OK, said Spook. It's Halloween. It's ever so late and I've got to get back home too. I'll walk with you to the steps, then I'll leave. Sure enough, Spook walked them to the bottom of the steps. When they got to the top, he made himself very tall and waved his long orange arms with yellow gloves on, calling, "You all sing beautifully! Don't forget me and come and find me again next year. Bye-bye!" NanaB, Grandad and Finnley happily hurried home. Mum and Dad were already home, looking out of the window for them. "I can't wait until I tell Mum and Dad what we did tonight," said Finnley. "Tell you what," said NanaB. "Have a quick wash, clean your teeth and pop into bed all cosy. Then Mum and Dad can come and tuck you in. You can tell them then." "Sounds like a good plan," said Grandad. "A good plan," said Finnley. Washed, pyjamas on and teeth cleaned, Finnley popped into bed and made himself cosy. Mum and Dad came to tuck him in. "Did you have a nice time with Grandad and NanaB?" asked Mum and Dad. "What did you do?" "We went to look for a Spooky Wooky. And guess what? We found the Spooky Wooky. I sang a funny coconut song with the Spooky Wooky. He let me call him Spook because his friends do. And he said we were all good singers." "That's nice," said Mum and Dad. "What's a Spooky Wooky?" "You will know one when you see one," said Finnley, and he fell fast asleep.
Down at an English fair, one evening I was there, when I heard a showman shouting underneath the flare.